For more than half a century, Seiko has been supporting athletes in their efforts to be the best. Now, we want to bring this reliable technology to anyone striving for a goal. Because we understand, a split second can change everything. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Tough Shed, a million uses. One of them tough enough to protect whatever's valuable to you. Tough Shed storage buildings and garages, coast to coast. For the store nearest you, call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH or visit toughshed.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Holliston Hill here at Steamboat Springs, the World Pro Ski Tour presented by Rocket Mortgage. Day 2 is the Moose Barrows Trophy presented by DNA Vibe, and it was a hard-fought battle with Michael Ankeny ending up at the top step of the podium with our new Olympian Simone Brightfoos Camelander in second, and Michael Ankeny clawing his way into third place, and Nolan Casper. The points tightened up, guys. 147 for Cone, 140 for Camelander, and now Ankeny's in hunt. What do you think is going to happen today, gentlemen?
Yeah, good afternoon here. Welcome once again. We are so excited because if yesterday was any indication, we have another incredible day of racing ahead of us. And the World Pro Ski Tour presented by Rocket Mortgage. As you just said, Michael Ankeny eking out an incredibly tight win on the men's side. The women's side yesterday was also extremely tight. Big props to Tuva Norbye of Norway for taking the win. And Florian, I mean, I thought the action was a lot closer than maybe we expected.
It was about as tight as I've seen out there yesterday. We had multiple races coming down to thousandths of a second, which is, you can't even see that much time. So it was pretty unbelievable. And yeah, the overall is really tightening up. You got 7 points separating first and second, and another 7 points separating second and third. So anything can happen here in the last few races of the season.
And interestingly enough, I'll just mention, first place is 35 points, second 30, third 25. So big moves can be made today in the overall standings of the tour.
And we can't forget that there's also points on the line for the side competitions. For speed run and for fastest out of the gate, there's points towards the overall on the line.
Yeah, I was actually talking with Simon Kammerlander this morning, and he's won 4 of the 5 speed runs so far this season. That's an extra 20 points that he's gotten, putting him in second place in the standings right now.
So interestingly, the 3 top guys all were 1, 2, 3 in the Speed Cup. So 3 points for Simone, 5 for Simone, 3 for Michael, 1 for Robert. So adding to that points total, those guys pull ahead of the rest of the field. My name's Kevin Clark, along with Chris Davenport and Florian Schweibel, athlete on the tour. Joining us here in the booth, healing up. We're going to be in Taos?
Yeah, I'm going to be back in Taos, behind the booth again. I'm not going to be racing again until next year, but I'm excited to join you guys there. It's going to be a fun time.
All right, awesome. We have our field of qualifiers ready to go at the top here. The World Pro Ski Tour presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Got to give some props out to the course crew, everybody that's worked on Holliston Hill getting this together, because it is just gorgeous looking. The venue looks amazing. The snow is hard and fast. And Florian, you and I were just talking about it. Any changes with the sun coming out and the temperatures rising?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't move the course from yesterday, so that snow has got a little compaction from everyone skiing it and everyone slipping it. It's going to be a little warmer today. We might see some even faster times than yesterday.
All right, guys, looks like they're ready to go at the top here. The World Pro Ski Tour presented by Rocket Mortgage ready to kick off here with the Moose Barrows Trophy presented by DNA Vibe. All the athletes use it to soothe those muscles after a long day on the hill. We'll send it to the top to the guys to start the cadence. So, Robert Cohen on the red course side, the first of 2 runs. Simone Brightfoos Camelander, number 1 and number 2 on the tour, facing off in qualifying. In qualifying, we race against the clock. Key to get out the doors as soon as the doors open, because when the doors open, the clock starts. If you get caught sleeping, you're going to be leaving some time on the hill as they touch down. So, Cone over the red course side, leading Simone. Simone had some trouble with his skis this morning, guys. He could not get out of the heel piece of his binding on his training skis.
I noticed that.
Had to go do some runs on his race skis. But across the line goes Robert Cone first. Then Simone follows him into the finish.
And Simone Kammerlander still dealing with a little bit of the jet lag coming off of the trip home from China. We had a 23.34 on the blue course for Simone, and Robert Cone, 23.05. So just a touch slower than the times posted yesterday in qualifying by these athletes, but about a second.
Seeing that red course still running pretty fast down on the bottom, a little bit of chop on the bottom of the blue. We'll see how it turns out.
All right, up at the top, the athletes have slotted in. Ankeny, number one yesterday, top step of the podium, really fought hard to make it happen. As Cone looks on, finish area here, along with Simone, Nolan Casper over on the blue course side, ready to go.
Red course ready.
Okay, the cadence begins. Qualifying. So once we have 4 athletes down the hill, we have what we call the hot seat. That is the time to beat to get into the top seed here in the World Pro Ski Tour. Dropping down the pitch, they go. Good solid start by both these guys. Nolan Casper over on the blue course side, Ankeny on the red. Ankeny touches down, clean and smooth. But boy, it's a long weekend with 2 days of racing, guys. Just pounding away, especially off those jumps. Hard snow, big pitch, high edge angles, a lot of pressure on the body.
And as you said, Flo, the red course running smooth at the bottom. Blue for Casper was a 23.56, Ankeny 22.79. And for sure, I know Nolan is looking for a little redemption today. Getting pumped out in the quarterfinals yesterday was not in his plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to bust in there into the next round. I know a lot of these guys are feeling it today. They've got sore backs, sore toenails. This Pro Tour racing really does beat you up.
So Ankeny there just posted a 22.79. I think that was probably the fastest time on the hill, right
today.
now and from yesterday.
No, not from yesterday. 22.31, I believe.
Okay,
yep.
so
or
Ankeny,
sorry, 22.19 yesterday by Simone. Yep.
So Ankeny.
But that's looking good considering the
Tucker
conditions
Marshall
today.
and Colby Derwin at the top. We can get those guys going. So behind the start doors, it's Derwin over on the blue course side. Colby skied for Colby College back in Maine. He's being a Mainer these days. Good to see. Out on track they go. Tucker over on the red course side. Qualified 6th yesterday. That's a good solid ski. He loves it turny, guys. So, out front over Colby Derwin. Again, you ski against the clock on your course. And tonight we'll be skiing against each other as you switch to differential. Right now, the clock start when the doors open. Across the line they go.
Colby Derwin, 24.23 on the blue. Tucker with a 23.70. Red course pretty consistently running a little quicker than the blue course today. I think these guys just have it figured out from yesterday, putting all those laps in the red course. They know how to set up for that right footer above the first jump.
Yep, and once you get around the trail turn there, they're just taking all that speed straight down the hill, keeping the skis pointed down the fall line.
Okay, Logan Martin behind the doors against Wiley Maple. Maple over on the blue course side.
Red course ready.
Some solid skiing yesterday in our super slalom format from a former U.S. ski team downhiller as they both sit patiently waiting for those lights to get close to the bottom of the tree, and out on course they go. Logan over the red course side. Both these guys rookies on tour. Touching down in good shape. Oh, Maple having a little bit of trouble on the red course side. Actually, Logan dropping low, losing contact with the snow as Wiley out in front of the blue. Getting good energy at the top of the turn. Ooh, runs a little bit wide there, but not a problem. And crosses the finish line.
Wiley Maple, 23.82 on the blue course. Logan Martin, 24.48.
See both of those athletes out there trying to wake up those legs and get going. Second day of racing here, lots of runs down this mountain.
So taking a look at the list here, gentlemen. So right now it's going to be Logan Martin in that hot seat with a 24.98. That's the time to beat for Jake Jacobs to jump in there. And over on the blue course side, it's Colby Derwin with the 24.23. That's what we call the hot seat in pro ski racing. That's the time to beat to get into that elite top 4 on your course. Those top 4 athletes at the end of this first run are automatically in the field. They can improve on their position in the second run, but that puts them in those top 8 spots in the ladder. So important to get there. So let's go with the next pair. At the top, Jake Jacobs. Over on the red course side, Tanner Perkins, who showed some strength here. Perkins on the blue. Jake back on his tail is really holding it for a long time, and a good strong start for Jacobs on the red course side. Drops down the pitch, runs a little bit low. Oh, excuse me, Cameron Smith.
Oh, yep. Ooh, a crash on the hill.
The wrong list in front of me here. Cameron Smith is on track with him. Do you guys have that list?
Yeah, we do. This is Cam Smith on blue and Jake Jacobs on red.
And Jacobs falling victim to that same gate that people were struggling with yesterday in qualifying. He didn't get the same practice that everyone else did. It's a heavy fall away, and he just booted out in the same way we saw so many athletes do yesterday. Our winner from yesterday, Michael Ankeny, showing his speed again, the only one so far to break that 23-second barrier, leading the qualifying rounds.
So Cam Smith, 24.28 on the blue course right there. It's 5th fastest on blue. We had a DNF on the red. You mentioned that difficult gate. And Jake Jacobs did not have the advantage of skiing on this course yesterday, so perhaps was not as kind of in the know with that gate. But maybe there is an advantage there physically. He's not quite as tired.
He's definitely going to be a little fresher than the rest of the boys. We'll see if he can use that to his advantage.
All right, your next pair, Addison Dvorak and Adam Blaise at the top. We're blasting right through this qualifying here with only the guys racing today. Pretty exciting with the women in the field yesterday. Kept the action going for a little bit longer.
Yeah, but you know what else we have today?
We got the young athletes racing in
the
Junior Challenge, brought to you by Alpine Bank.
Definitely looking forward to the juniors up on the hill today. So Adam Blaise on the blue course, Addison Dvorak on red.
So Addison putting together a solid run here. There's Blaise working his way down the blue course side. Red out in front, heading for the bottom jump. In our first of 2 runs of qualifying here in the Moose Barrows Trophy presented by DNA Vibe.
Good looking run right there for Addison, 23.82. That's 4th fastest on the red course. Adam with a 28.25.
So Addison gets in there. He's in that top 4. So his time at 23.82.
Ben Andrews on blue, up at the top now. Wilhelm Normanseth on red from Norway.
Red course ready. I'm ready in a second. Okay.
So Andrews, Normanseth, the Norwegian, had some strong skiing yesterday.
Blue course ready.
Met some formidable competition and skied well. So here we go. Second to the last pair in our first round of qualifying. Almost a flip up there. He's getting a little bit anxious coming down the pitch. Wilhelm skiing powerful. Andrews trails. So almost pulled a Duffy coming down for the guys at the top. He almost went over the handlebars there as he works his skis on the red course out front with a good clean run. And across the line goes Wilhelm.
And Wilhelm actually going into the top 4 with the 3rd fastest on the red course, 23.35 there.
So he makes it in on that first run, 23.35. We'll sum it all up after this first run is over. Let you know who is in that top 4. Or can you see that from where you sit, Chris?
Yeah, I sure can. Fastest times on the blue course, Kammerlander, 23.34, followed by Casper. And then Maple, 4th fastest was Derwin.
So what's the hot seat now? You can work that out. Looks like Marshall on that red side.
Yep. Logan to be Tucker Marshall, yep.
And Derwin.
And then Colby Derwin on blue.
So Marshall's time to beat, 23.70, and Derwin with 24.23. And we're ready to go with the last pair. Greta Hallsness, Lewis Latham.
Blue course ready.
So Latham, a coach here at the Steamboat Springs Club. And here we go. Back to the tails of their skis they go. The last pair in the first run of qualifying here for the Moose Barrows Cup. We saw Moose here yesterday, looking on. I'm sure he'll be back tonight. So, red course side, touching down Hallsness with some solid skiing in the field yesterday. His dad, a former pro, I raced with Stein Ivor Halsness, and both his uncles, Edvin and Jarli Halsness, are former tour champions, says Halsness.
So Halsness, 24.71, 7th fastest on the red course. Lewis Latham across, 27.55.
Halsness getting in that low position, trying to eke every bit of speed out of the bottom of the course that he could. Letting the skis run, getting a little squirrely.
Did you know that Brede Halsness has been to 80 countries?
That's definitely more countries than I've been
Think
to.
about that.
80 countries?
That is a lot of countries
What was
to
he doing
visit.
in 80 countries?
There's only 2 countries on our continent. Well, there's a summary of the race on the big screen right there. You see the fastest times on red on the left, on blue on the right.
So Ankeny, the man out there this morning, huh? He's got the fastest time over on his course in the first run.
Yep, 22.79. That was the fastest run of the morning on either course. That was on red. Fastest time on the blue was a 23.34. So running just about a half second slower, I think, than yesterday morning's qualifying or midday. Maybe due to the temps or the sun or just tired bodies. I don't know.
I think a combination of all of those factors. We do have a little bit of a rut developed too, so the athletes can't get quite as close to the gates, can't get quite as tight of a line. They're skiing more distance. It's taking a little bit longer to get down.
You know, you actually bring up a really good point. I definitely noticed less hitting, cross-blocking of the gates in qualifying today than we saw yesterday.
Probably a little bit of fatigue on the athlete's part, but also just not quite able to get as tight to those gates as they need to make that happen.
Well, we're going to have run 2 of our qualifying coming up, and then this afternoon, 4:30, the junior race presented by Alpine Bank. It's going to be great to see our Steamboat Springs Winter Sports Club juniors competing here on Howelson Hill. And then the big show tonight going off the Moose Barrows Trophy presented by DNA Vibe. That is going to be awesome. We had a great party atmosphere here on the hill last night.
Absolutely. All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Back at the World Pro Ski Tour presented by Rocket Mortgage.
There is arguably no bigger personality in all of skiing than that of Steamboat Springs' Moose Barrows. Jim Barrows started his life on the ski slopes of Howelson Hill as a budding ski jumper at the age of 5, spending his formative years training with the Steamboat Springs Winter Sports Club. Coached by Gordy Wren, he would soon develop skills in all events. In 1958, he was awarded the Rocky Mountain News Skiing Futurity Scholarship, which provided him with his first new pair of alpine skis. Barrows continued to develop his skiing skills throughout high school, winning every downhill race in the Rocky Mountain Division, along with the prestigious Western States Team Championships in Sun Valley, Idaho, in his senior year. These early successes earned him a scholarship to the University of Colorado, where he became the nation's premier 4-event skier, winning several NCAA Ski Meister titles. It was also in Boulder that he acquired his nickname, Moose, courtesy of his coach, Bob Beatty, who helped him to perfect his alpine skiing skills. In 1965, Moose qualified for the U.S. ski team, and the following year he was named to the 1966 World Championships team. The trip to Portillo, Chile for the championships marked his first international competition. In 1967, he finished third in the first World Cup downhill race ever held in the U.S. in Franconia, New Hampshire, ending that inaugural World Cup campaign ranked 7th in the final season-long World Cup downhill standings. That result positioned him as the highest-ranking American skier and qualified him for a spot on the 1968 U.S. Olympic team. His 1968 season would come to an abrupt end, however, during his bid for an Olympic gold medal in the downhill event at the Winter Games in Grenoble, France. His spectacular fall midway down the course was well documented by ABC's Wide World of Sports, never to be forgotten as the original agony of defeat. Flying precariously through the air, he landed hard before sliding for 200 yards, dislocating his hip and having to be airlifted off the mountain. Within 5 weeks, he was back on skis. In 1971, he returned to the slopes to compete in the World Pro Ski Tour, finishing 3rd overall in 1972. He has since coached junior skiers and the U.S. men's downhill team from 1977 to 1980, including the 1980 Lake Placid Winter Games. A legend in his own time, Moose's passion for Steamboat and the surrounding area is clearly evidenced by his involvement in all aspects of his community. He has devoted a significant amount of time to promoting skiing, developing the concept of self-timing programs, and creating a scholarship fund to provide junior skiers in the Yampa Valley with the means to train, amassing several $100,000 for his efforts.
At the Steamboat Springs Winter Sports Club, we train, compete, build confidence, set goals, and achieve them. Alpine Bank gives a lot in our community. They make sure kids get the opportunity to be champions. They support us with scholarships, bibs, the ACE program, Athlete of the Week, and my favorite, the Alpine Bank World Pro Ski Tour Junior Challenge. I will always remember racing and being mentored by ski racers like Ted Ligety.
Thank you, Alpine Bank!
In general, ski racing is a pretty tough sport.
Racers ready?
Using my DNA Vibe has allowed me to train harder, longer, and recover faster. Less days off, more time on the snow, beating my competitors. Having another option to be doing what we love and to continue to race, it just keeps the sport open and keeps you in it.
All right, welcome back. Before we get underway with the second run of qualifying here at Steamboat, Perry Kamel is joining us in the booth. We're going to talk about DNA Vibe, which we're our presenting sponsor today. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
So these athletes take a pounding out there, and I see a lot of them using your DNA Vibe.
Yeah, that's right. I think the athletes take a special pounding, especially on back-to-back race days, and we're happy to be here as a sponsor and kind of help them do what they do a little harder, recover a little faster.
I want to dive into a little bit more of what DNA Vibe is. I'm hearing about it. I haven't tried it yet, but as an athlete who's taken a pounding, it sounds really interesting. What sets your technology apart from like other things that are out in the market?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, it's a light therapy technology. Light therapy's been around 57 years. That's a long time. But what's new and different about ours is it's actually a 4-mode product. It's very focused on precise frequency of red light, infrared, magnetic waves, and also microvibration.
Okay.
And that combination really has a big impact on stimulating the body's natural healing processes.
Well, it sounds fantastic. Are you guys demoing, or you can try it here at the races?
Yeah, we do have some units that we let people try, and we've got, as you mentioned, a number of the racers already using it. It's delivering phenomenal results. About 97% of the people who use it say it really helps them out.
Well, ski racers are some of the most, hardcore athletes out there. What other sports are you guys using it with effectively?
You know, we've got about 4 or 5 Olympians out in Beijing right now using it. The number's growing. There's over 100 professional and Olympic athletes using it today. Everything from MMA fighters, triathlons, track and field, bobsled, you name it. Anybody who takes a pounding. And, you know, one of our MMA fighters likes to say, your life may not be a cage match. Right? But we all take a pounding, right? Whether you're a grandmother wanting to be more active with the grandkids or whether you're a young athlete wanting to stay in the game, it helps me every day too, I got to say.
Awesome, Perry. Well, thank you so much for your support of the races here.
My pleasure.
All right, get back out there, Perry, do some therapy on these guys as we get underway with the second round of qualifying. They're back at the top and ready to go. Cone and Camelander coming at you next. They've switched sides. Simone Breitfuss Camelander over on the red course side. His first run time, a 23.34.
Blue course ready. Racers ready.
All right, Perry heads out. Florian jumps back in the middle chair. We get underway with the second round of qualifying. Let's see if the times will pick up here. Cone and Camelander, number 1 and number 2 on the tour. Beautiful bluebird day here this morning. We'll be back out. And Camelander, all kinds of trouble. Scrubbing speed up there big time. Trying to straighten it out as Cone's out in front of the blue. Again, you ski against your own course against the clock here. And eliminations later on will be against the differential clock. But right now, Cone out front, letting one rip.
Yeah, great skiing by Cone. And I got to tell you, I did talk to Simone this morning, and he's still feeling a little jet lagged, still not getting a lot of rest at night, and the body, I think, is feeling it. So perhaps flow a little strategy in qualifying to not go 100% full gas, save something for the main event. That's what I'm seeing.
Absolutely. That being said, Cone just laid down the fastest run of the day so far on the blue course, which has been running a little bit slower. So you can tell that he's definitely ready to fight for the win today.
Yeah, very good point right there. That was great skiing by Rob Cone on the blue course. Fastest time, as you said. We'll see if Michael Ankeny can have something to say about that on the blue course right now. going up with Nolan Casper on red.
So Ankeny focusing down the hill, all jazzed up from yesterday, fastest on the hill, as Chris just mentioned. And Nolan Casper, 23.56. So both those guys posting really similar times, Cone and Kamalander in that first run. Kamalander only 23.13, went actually quicker with the trouble he had there.
You're right. And Ankeny right here, not only fastest yesterday, but let's not forget $10,000 in his pocket. That feels pretty good. Maybe some motivation to do it again.
They're tired of seeing Cone take all the money away. Here we go, Ankeny and Casper, two former U.S. ski team members, both big green skiers.
That's right.
Dartmouth College, and my good friend Peter Dodge, coach here for so many years, former pro, retiring from coaching. All these guys experienced from Peter's time on the tour. Good close run by both these friends and competitors, both ski for Team Slalom Tokyo Drift. It looks like it's going to be Nolan at the line first.
Yeah, so Casper comes across right there, 23.56. Bob Cone, 22.77. Going to have Tucker Marshall on the blue course coming up next. Colby Derwin on red.
Casper and Ankeny, teammates on the U.S. team, both big green skiers, and teammates on the Team Rocket Mortgage team, along with Tuva Norby, yesterday's winner for the ladies.
Ready for our next pair.
Yeah, I love how Rocket Mortgage has their own Pro Tour team. These are kind of like independent teams that are forming around the World Pro Ski Tour presented by Rocket Mortgage. That is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Guys team up. All right, here they go. Second run. Colby Derwin on the red course side and Tucker Marshall on the blue. Marshall been skiing consistently this year. Right up there in a top 10. Every qualifying. He was 6th yesterday in his qualifying efforts.
Colby Derwin getting knocked out yesterday in the opening round by Wiley Maple, who's coming up next. Derwin definitely looking to try to get into the quarters today. And Colby Derwin going across with 24.78 on red. Tucker Marshall, 23.73 on blue, 5th fastest there on the blue course.
So Marshall stepping it up again. Good.
Yep, good looking skiing by both of the athletes. And take a little break here before the main event. I wonder if that's harder to qualify and then have like 4 or 5 hours off and then have to race.
It's definitely tough. You know, you come out here, you have to put down 2 fast runs, but then there's just nothing to do but wait until the final.
All right, Wiley drops in on the red course side against Logan Martin. Pretty evenly matched this run. Looks like Wiley maybe a little bit of an edge, but again, you're skiing against the clock on your own course. Not the athlete skiing next to you. That happens tonight, 6 o'clock. Then we got that Alpine Bank Challenge where the pros are going to come out and ski with the young athletes. So Wiley going to be at the line first. What do we got, Chris?
Maple on the red course, 23.65. That's 6th fastest on red. Logan Martin on blue was 24.39, 9th fastest on the blue course. So we'll put our standings up here on the big screen for you guys to check out once we get that sorted here. There we go. Red course on the left, blue course on the right. Current standings.
Cone coming down, challenging Ankeny. Only 200ths faster, but faster nonetheless on this qualifying run.
So Cone stepping it up there. In the past, he didn't really seem to care much about where he qualified. Sometimes he's 4th or 5th, and he says it doesn't matter, but sure does matter when you get stacked up on that ladder, and all of a sudden you're meeting a top guy in the second round.
Yeah, you don't want to meet a heavy hitter before the semis or quarters, but actually they're all heavy hitters right now. So Jake Jacobs at the top on the blue course. Cameron Smith on the red course.
So Jake with trouble on that red course on his first run. Let's see how he fares on the second run. Cameron with a 24.28. Over on the red course side, dropping down the pitch. Jake with a nice clean start. Sweet turns as they drop off that top bump. Cameron bouncing a little bit sideways. Jake skiing a good line. Right there with Smith. Jacobs putting together a solid run here. Was absent from the field yesterday, but good to see him back out on course and putting together a solid run.
All right, Cam Smith coming down red there, 24.28. Jake Jacobs with the 24.62 on the blue course.
So was Cam's first and second run times almost identical?
Yeah, they were identical.
I thought you read the first run time by mistake, but identical.
Yep,
24-2-8. Talk about consistency.
All right, now Addison Dvoracek on blue, Ben Andrews on red.
So
Addison improving on his skiing from yesterday in that first qualifying run. Had a nice clean run down the pitch. He's looking to do it again here.
My mistake right there. It's Adam Bleas on the red course.
See that big DNA vibe on their bibs for the race weekend. And our friends from Seiko here hooking all these athletes up with watches yesterday. Keep going forward with Seiko Pro Specs.
Yeah, we've got the Seiko Prospects watch right in front of us. That thing is beautiful.
Nice. That's what the athletes win. So who's going to take away a watch?
Maybe me,
tonight?
Back to Aspen.
Yeah, maybe they won't notice this one's gone.
Yeah.
All right, you can send them, guys. We're ready to go. Dvoracek and Bleas. The cadence starts. Here, the World Pro Ski Tour presented by Rocket Mortgage. Boom, out on course they go on the blue side, getting a good solid jump is Dvoracek, his first run of clean 23.82. And Adam Bleas over on the red course side. There's a camera focus on Dvoracek out in front there on that blue. A little bit straight off the bump, and a little stivot in there to get back on line. That's when you throw to skis. Oh, trouble on the red course side. Down goes Adam.
And, yep, Adam having some trouble. We'll go back and look at the replay right there. But Addison finishing on the blue with a 23.96. Good, respectable seventh fastest.
Pretty impressive skiing considering he hasn't been on slalom boards since back in his NCAA college skiing days.
So, again, consistent skiing from Dvoracek. He had a 23.82 and a 23.96. So, course is running really pretty even.
Let's see what happened to Adam here. Coming into that second jump. Can't really see it on the angle, but it looks like he got washed out on that same off-camber turn that was throwing people for a loop yesterday.
One ski, where's the other?
He's going to have to find that and get off the hill so we can send our next racers.
Yeah, Norman Seth on blue, Andrews on the red course.
So Norman Seth fast on the first round with a 23.35. We're ready to go for Wilhelm and Ben Andrews.
Red course ready. Blue course ready.
So our second to last pairing here in the second run of qualifying today for the Moose Barrows Trophy presented by DNA Vibe.
So Wilhelm, big strong start on the blue course side. Here's Ben Andrews. Trails on the red. He has no trouble up there in a challenging red gate just before the jump. Out front, Wilhelm, Norman Seth, your second to the last pair here in our second round of qualifying in our Moose Barrows Trophy presented by DNA Vibe. Across the line he will go. How'd he make out, Chris?
Yeah, that was a great looking run right there. Norman Seth with third fastest time on the blue course, 23.32. Really laying it down. Andrews coming across there on red, 25.94.
Yeah, I'd keep my eye on Norman Seth moving into the knockout rounds. He's been showing some speed and consistent skiing here today, working clean turns down that pitch.
Final matchup now at the top for qualifying. Bretta Halsness was coming down the blue course. Lewis Latham on the red course.
All right, we're ready to go. We can start the cadence.
Course ready. Blue course ready.
Matt Rogers stepping up to do the starting details. Randy Pattison, our assistant starter, getting everybody lined up here. Down the pitch they go. Bretta Halsness. He was a little bit off the pace on his first run compared to yesterday. But he's in trouble on the red course side. He manages to get it back on track. His Halsness out in front.
Yep.
Our oldest competitor in the field, Halsness, at 38 years old. Strong athlete, though. Putting together a clean run. Losing that downhill ski a little bit here and there, but it's going to be Halsness crossing the finish line first.
Yep, 24.71, 11th fastest there. Latham comes across 28.21, 14th. Good job, guys. Great morning of qualifying here. Midday qualifying for the Moose Barrows Trophy presented by DNA Vibe. We will bring up the times here onto the big screen. There you go.
So some incredible consistent skiing when we look up at the comparative times. So really great course set by Barrett Stein. They left it pretty much the same course as yesterday, making a few adjustments and giving it some slips, but amazing consistency, guys.
And what we don't see on that board right there is the combined times. Fastest combined time, Rob Cohn, 45.82, followed by Michael Ankeny, 46.10, and then it was Simon Kammerlander, 46.47. Fourth fastest was Norman Seth out of Norway, 46.67.
Told you he was going to be fast. Keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah, you were right there. That was one of the more impressive qualifying or competition runs we've seen from Norman Seth, because yesterday just wasn't bringing the heat like he just did on the blue course there.
Yeah, it seems like he's figuring out that pitch, and the snow conditions really linked up some nice clean arcs that last qualifying run.
What do you think the athletes would have done with their skis last night? Waxing, tuning?
Definitely waxing, but honestly, this snow is so grippy, they probably didn't need to do much to the edges. Just polish off, get any burrs out of there, and they're ready to rumble.
Well, you know what? After we leave Steamboat and Howelson Hill right here, there's one more race this season. I think you're going to be at it. You guys are both going to be at it.
Oh, yeah. Taos, baby. It's going to be fun.
April 7th through the 10th, the World Championships of Professional Ski Racing presented by Rocket Mortgage. That'll be exciting. Big money on the line, both the men and the women. But today, we have more action. 4:30, the junior athletes will be on the hill with the pros for the Alpine Bank Junior Challenge. That's a lot of fun. Big thanks to Betsy Wood with Alpine Bank. We will see you at 4:30. Then 6 o'clock, we'll be back out here for the men's finals on an awesome weekend. The weather's held out. We got great snow. Chris Davenport, Florian Schweibel, Kevin Clark here. We will be back at 4:30 with the juniors.